Alright, so in this lesson, we're going to continue to talk about the mean, which means the average, if you remember from the last lesson. But this time, I'm going to take away one of the numbers in the data set. I'm going to give you the mean, and I need you to find the missing number. Now, this isn't that difficult. I want you to think about it as finding the missing dimension in a rectangle or a trapezoid or in the volume of a triangular prism. There's a very specific formula that you use in order to figure out what the missing value is. So your goal for today is I can determine the missing value when given a mean. So let's go ahead and get started. So just to review before this example, the mean is the average. And if you remember, you add up all the numbers and then divide by the specific number of items in the data set. Okay, so Susan has 4 20-point projects in her science class. Her first 3 projects earned her the score of 18, 15, and 16. How many points does she need in order to how many points does she need to earn on her 4th project? So her average for all the projects will be a 17. So the way that you set up this problem is you're going to make an equation, and you're going to get down to a point where you're at x equals something, and that's going to be your answer. And the way that you set it up is the exact same way for every single problem like this. So what you're going to do is you're going to take all of the scores that we know, 18 plus 15 plus 16 plus x. And the reason why we add x is because, remember, x is what we don't know, and so we don't know her last score. Now, all of that divided by 4, because there's 1, 2, 3, 4 scores, should equal 17. So before I keep going, I need you to understand why we set it up this way. Remember that the mean is adding all the data points together and dividing it by the total number of data points. So here what we did is we added all of them together, and we have x, our unknown, and we divide it by 4 because there's 1, 2, 3, 4. And all of that should equal 17. So the first thing that we're going to do in order to solve is we need to get rid of this divided by 4. The opposite of divided by 4 is times 4. So over here, I'm going to do times 4, but whatever I do to one side of the equal sign, I have to do to the other. So I'm going to do times 4 here. Now, this guy and this guy will cancel out. And so all you're left with is 18 plus 15 plus 16 plus x equals, and then 17 times 4 is going to be 68. Okay? Now, all we do is combine like terms and solve. So we have 15 plus 18 plus 16, and that's going to give us 49. Bring down the rest of the problem, and now we have a one-step equation. We're going to box the variable. This 49 is being added, so we're going to subtract it. Oops. Whatever I do to one side, I do to the other. These guys cancel, and we're left with x equals 19. So what does this mean? If she wants an average of 17 on all of her projects, she needs to earn a 19 on the last one. All right, let's try another example. Tanya needs her average time for running 1.5 miles to be 13 minutes. So the average needs to be 13. For the past 6 days, she has finished the distance in 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 12 minutes, 12 minutes, 17 minutes, and 11 minutes. What does her time on the 7th day need to be in order to have a mean time of 13 minutes for that week? So I'm going to go ahead and set this up. What do we know? 10 plus 15 plus 12 plus 12 plus 17 plus 11 plus x all of that divided by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and all of that needs to equal 13. Now, we want to get rid of this 7 on the bottom, so we're going to multiply by 7, but we have to do it on both sides. These guys are going to cancel out, and we're left with 10 plus 15 plus 12 plus 12 plus 17 plus 11 plus x equals, and 13 times 7 is going to be 91. Now let's go ahead and combine all of these. So 10 plus 15 plus 12 plus 12 plus 17 plus 11. That's going to be 77 plus x equals 91. And now we have a one-step equation. So we're going to box our variable. 77 is being added, so we're going to subtract it, but we do it from both sides. These cancel, and we're left with x equals 14. So she needs to run that distance in 14 minutes in order to have an average of 13 minutes. All right, let's look at example number 3. Andy has grades of an 84, a 65, and a 76 on 3 math tests. What must he obtain on the next test to have an average, of exactly 80 for the 4 tests? So I'm going to set up my equation. 84 plus 65 plus 76, and the last thing you always do is plus x. All of that divided by 1, 2, 3, 4 needs to give you an average of 80. So let's go ahead and take a look. So we want to get rid of this 4 on the bottom, so we multiply it on the top. But whatever I do to one side, I do to the other. These guys are going to cancel, and I'm left with 84 plus 65 plus 76 plus x equals, and when you multiply that together, you're going to get 320. Okay? Now let me combine all of these. So 84 plus 65 plus 76. That's going to give me 225 plus x equals 320. Now, I have a one-step equation. Box my variable. 225 is being added, so I'm going to subtract it. These guys cancel. I'm left with x equals, and 320 minus 225 is going to be 95. So he needs a 95% on his last test if he wants an overall average of 80. All right, example number 4. Lucy earned 84, 92, 84, 75, and 70 on her first 5 essays. What is the minimum grade Lucy needs to earn on her next essay in order to have a mean of 84? So let's set it up. 84 plus 92 plus 84 plus 75 plus 70, and the last thing is always plus x, divided by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and it needs to have a mean of 84. Okay? So let's go ahead and get started. We want to get rid of this 6 on the bottom. So we multiply because it's being divided here, but we have to do it to both sides to be fair. So these guys cancel, and we're left with 84 plus 92 plus 84 plus 75 plus 70 plus x equals, and 84 times 6 is 504. Alright, let me add all of these together to combine them. 84 plus 92 plus 84 plus 75 plus 70. So that's going to be 405 plus x equals 504. Alright, now I have a one-step equation. I'm going to box my variable. 405 is being added, so I'm going to subtract it. but I have to do it to both sides to be fair. Those cancel, and I'm left with x equals 99. So she needs a 99% on her last essay in order to have an average of 84. All right. Let's look at example 5. Find the value of x in the following data set when the mean is 61. So I have 45 plus 62 plus 72 plus 59 plus 62 plus x, and all of that is divided by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the mean has to be 61. So I need to get rid of this 6 on the bottom. It's being divided, so I multiply by 6, but I have to do it to both sides. So these guys cancel. I'm left with 45 plus 62 plus 72 plus 59 plus 62 plus x equals, and 61 times 6 is 366. Now I need to combine all of these together. 45 plus 62 plus 72 plus 59 plus 62, and that's going to give me 300 plus x equals 366. Now I have a one-step equation. I box the variable. The 300 is being added, so I need to subtract it. This is going to cancel, and we're left with x equals 66. So in that data set, in order to have a mean of 61, the last missing value needs to be 66. All right, example number 6. While bowling, you score a 125 and a 170. What do you need to bowl on the third game in order to maintain an average of 150? So I have 125 plus 170, and then we always end with plus x. Divide by 1, 2, 3, and I need to have an average of 150. So the first thing I want to do is get rid of this divided by 3, so I'm going to multiply by 3. And these guys are going to cancel. I'm left with 125 plus 170 plus x equals, and when I multiply this together, I get 450. I'm going to combine these together. So 125 plus 170, that's going to be 295 plus x equals 450. Now I have a one-step equation. I'm going to box my variable. Minus 295 minus 295. These cancel, and I'm left with x equals, and 450 minus 295 is going to be 155. So my last game, I need to bowl a 155 in order to have an average of a 150. All right, example number 7. You scored an 85, a 93, a 92, and an 80 on 4 social studies tests. What score do you need to earn on the last test in order to have an average of 90%? So we have 85 plus 93 plus 92 plus 80, and we always end with plus x. All of that divided by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 equals, and we want an average of a 90. First thing I need to do is get rid of this divided by 5, so I'm going to multiply by 5, but I have to do it to both sides. And those cancel. I'm left with 85 plus 93 plus 92 plus 80 plus x equals, and when I multiply 90 and 5 together, I get 450. Now I'm going to combine all of these numbers together. 85 plus 93 plus 92 plus 80, and that's going to give me 350 plus x equals 450. Now I have a one-step equation, so I'm going to box my variable. I have 350 being added, so I'm going to do minus 350, but I have to do it to both sides to be fair. These guys are going to cancel, and I'm left with x equals 100. So this person needs a perfect 100% on her last social studies test in order to have an average of 90%. Alright, example number 8. A waitress earns tips in the amount of $2.50, $3.25, $5.25, $4.80, and $7. What would her next tip need to be in order to have a tip average of $4? So we're going to have 250 plus 3.25 plus 5.25 plus 4.80 plus $7, and we always end with plus x. All of that needs to be divided by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and it needs to equal $4. So the first thing we want to do is get rid of this divided by 6, so we multiply by 6, and we do it to both sides. So those cancel. We're left with 250 plus 325 plus 5.25 plus 4.80 plus $7, and we always end with plus x, equals, when we multiply this together, we're going to get $24. Now I'm going to combine all of these amounts. So $2.50 plus $3.25 plus $5.25 plus $4.80 plus $7. That's going to give me $22.80 plus x equals $24. Now I have a one-step equation. I box my variable. This is being added, so I'm going to do minus 22.80, but I have to do it to both sides. These cancel. I'm left with x equals, and when I subtract that, I'm going to get $1.20. So her last tip needs to be only $1.20 in order to have an average tip of $4. Alright, so here's a challenge problem for you. In a class of 25 15-year-olds, the mean age is 16 years old. How old is the teacher? I'm not going to solve it with you. You can solve it to earn extra credit on the upcoming statistics test. I'll replace it with one problem, but really think about it. I'll read it again. In a class of 25 15-year-olds, the mean age is 16 years old. So the mean is 16. How old is the teacher? So you can work on it if you want to. It is not required, but if you want to, you need to show it to me by Friday. Alright, that is the end of this lesson. We're going to work on this for a couple of days, so don't you worry. You will become an absolute expert, but you can always ask me questions.